Well, hello everyone. Good to see you all. Sorry about being late, but work called, so I literally got in the door and came on here with you fine people to see how it's going. So, pretty interesting first day on the job. It's a weird shift, right? Noon till 9. But yeah, it was pretty much a different experience from anywhere else I've ever worked. It's a when we scanned our badges to come in for the first time to go into our little classroom there, they were all lined up and they had music playing and were clapping for us coming in. So it was very interesting, but it was 9 hours of sitting in a classroom, which is fun in some instances, but not always the most fun. But had a good time. Had some people ask me to bring bees out to their place where they've got some trees, like fruit trees and stuff. So that was pretty interesting, and a lot of people interested in getting honey. So we'll see how it shakes out. I'll probably take my sampler up there and let them try some flavored honeys and things, and give them a go at that. So as far as the bee yard, obviously didn't get in there today, but still have my queen cells down here incubating, 93 degrees, 79% humidity. So we'll see how they come out. They should hatch around Sunday is what I was told. So we'll see. I don't want to go in them too much. I'm just letting them be and doing that. So then I'll have to figure out which colonies are going to get split and split those sometime this week and try to make that happen. So I already know which ones I want to split are my mean ones, right? Break them down and give them a new queen. So then it just becomes a matter of whether or not they come back mated and can get mated. So we got 35 people in here right now. Let me go ahead and share a link. I apologize, but I won't be hanging around for after chat like I normally do, because I'm trying to get my body on schedule with the new job. And of course, as soon as I get used to that, it'll probably change again. But anyway, there's the link. Come on in. Let's talk, see what's going on. Otherwise, it'll be an exceptionally short stream if nobody wants to join me tonight, because I'm not a big fan of talking to the chat box, because if I'm looking over here at the chat box, I can't be addressing you guys. Hey, look who we got. Hey, Brad.
You the man.
Well, I feel like it a little bit today. So,
well, I'm glad it was a positive experience. It wasn't.
Yeah, it was the first day, so I did get signed up for some health care and vision and life insurance and stuff like that.
All the important stuff.
Yeah, all the stuff that's going to cost me money out of my paycheck. Signed up for all that. And they have a quite good like 401k and stuff like that. So that's good. I mean, they match up to 6%. So, and then they give you an additional 3% in stock options in the company.
Wow, that's
So,
really
well, you
good.
can choose stock options or cash. I'm going for the stock options because there's a chance that year after year that 3% will grow. So, assuming,
But
planning for the future.
but matching 6%, that's really, I've never heard it that high. I
Yeah,
worked for a company, it was 5, and that was higher than anybody else.
and it's really quite nice. I mean, they have gym facility, basketball facility. They've got not that as you can tell, not that I'll partake in it, but they have it.
Do they have a
And
buffet? I
they have
mean,
food
speak my
every
language.
night. Every night they have food trucks that they
Really?
allow on the property for the employees, and
Well,
they have at least two separate canteen areas where you can go and grab a drink and scan the old ATM and pay for it. So
that's the trouble. Say goodbye to the paycheck.
it was pretty. I think they went out of their way to make you feel included, part of the team, by everybody welcoming you
That's good.
and all that. And I've worked for a lot of companies, and that's the first company I've ever had try to put that foot forward. It's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, well, you're coming here to do a job, just get to work,
Yeah,
and,
show you they're glad you're there.
and they're not rushing the training. They could have done what they did today in like half the time, and I would have been perfectly fine with it. But they didn't rush it, right? We're just gonna
Good.
take this. Hey, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, good evening.
So yeah, so it was a pretty good day at the job. I can't complain about it. And we'll see how it pans out. It's
Awesome.
I just when I left the last company that I swore off sales. I'm good at it. But what I don't like is I feel like I'm busking for dinner, right? I might as well just have a guitar and a guitar case open and singing for supper, right? And if you've never been in sales, typically what happens is if you beat the best record in the company in sales in a month, next month they want you to beat that record
Better.
by a certain percentage. And if you don't, then it's like, well, why didn't you do it this? Then it's just an issue. But
Never
it
good
is
enough.
what it is. So we'll just take the money. So it's pretty good. So Mike's still covered in snow.
No, it's pretty much gone.
Oh, is it? You were just riding in a snowmobile, like.
Oh, they lost 18 inches before I got there. Lost a foot the day I was there, but I'm back home.
Oh, okay.
That was at my place up near the Canadian border.
Brad's place is up near the Canadian border too.
Yeah.
Are you buried in snow, or is it going away?
It's been cool lately, so we haven't melted much snow. There was a little bit of melting today. So it's slowly, you can slowly see the ground appearing, but there's
It's taking
probably,
its time.
it probably looks more like this right now
Well,
with
guess
no
what I got
bees.
today?
What'd you get today?
I haven't worked in like months, and now first day back on the job, call to come pick a swarm out of some bushes, and I couldn't go get it because I was at work.
Couldn't call you yesterday.
Story of my life.
Yeah.
So it's is what it is. But I did have one of the ladies in there has an orchard on her property, 5 acres of pears and apples and raspberries, blueberries, and all this other stuff. She said, "Oh, I would love for you to bring bees out here." So we'll see how that works.
Is it ways away?
It's close to my work. It's like, but
30-minute
not
drive.
very close to me, but it's close to there. So.
I've had yards 30 minutes away, and it's that's a good little trek for if you don't have a ton of bees there.
But I already had people say, "Bring me some honey tomorrow. I'll have cash for you." So
Perfect.
we'll see. And one lady is trying to start she called it a fermentation business, but she makes wine out of fruit wine, right?
Okay.
So
yeah.
First thing out of her mouth was, "Oh, mead. We make mead."
Yep.
So we'll see.
Yep. Come get some honey.
But they typically don't want to pay retail for that honey.
Boy,
right?
the honey sales have been strong here too. A guy came here, $150, and store called. I got to go out tomorrow.
They're
It's
getting ready for
really been good. Really been strong sales lately.
they're getting ready for pollen season. Maybe. Well, it's still a little bit away for you though.
Well, yeah, I don't hear people talk about that much here.
Oh, they stopped. I had a guy call me, said, I'll be heading back through town. Well, my
Because
wife,
we don't have that like yellow cloud kind of stuff. I mean, we do have pollen season,
oh, it's
but not like you.
it's
Not like
cranking
you.
up here.
Yeah.
Really, really cranking up.
But it's good. Sales are good. Can't complain. Cannot
Yeah.
complain.
I thought I would have honey to make it to my next crop. It's not looking that good for that at this moment. But either way, I would have, sales is sales. Let's take it. That's what I was telling one of the guys today.
Well, yeah. What you don't want to hoard it. You got to sell it.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? And I said it's kind of changed. At first, I only operated with cash, right? Then it was cash and PayPal. Then it was cash, PayPal, Cash App. Then it was cash, PayPal, Cash App, and Square. Then it's I can send you an invoice. It's like however you want to give me money, I can take it from you now.
Yeah.
It's it's interesting. So, and I think there's a lot of, believe it or not, a lot of people had side things they did in there. They did one lady did like catering. One lady one lady did catering, another lady did something, and the lady with the wine, and then I do honey. And then if Brian, I haven't seen Brian pop up in here yet from Flower Street, but then I started talking about artisan honeys, creamed honeys, right? Different flavors of honey, nuts and honey, different things you can do. And it really, I can't stress to people that are only selling honey, you are missing so much money that it's ridiculous. Just adding plain creamed honey to your repertoire would do something. Even if you didn't want to do anything else to it, just cream it and put it in there. It's just another avenue. Will everybody like every flavor? No. That's why you have 37 of them or whatever. It's like just something different. Another avenue. Hot honey. We're talking about hot honeys and the differences. I don't know. I was like giving a lecture on honey there, and I wasn't trying to, but it ended up that way. And when you change people's thought process about honey from, well, most people say, well, I use honey, I take a spoonful of it for my allergies, or I put it in my coffee, and that's pretty much it. They're using it as something for their drink, or as just a sweet treat or something.
You get them baking with it and cooking with it and stuff, and that's when you start to sell some honey.
You just have to show them the differences. Hey, you could take hot honey and glaze fish with it. You can make a barbecue sauce. I've made teriyaki glaze with it, right? I mean, just change it up. I am selling, and I'm kind of like the shooting the fish in the barrel sales at this company. And when I say that, the calls that we get specifically are calls from people that are on the company's website trying to order internet and cable. So they're having a problem. So they call in and they come to us. So they're already wanting to buy. Yeah. It's just now I just put it in the computer and sell it for them right there, right?
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah, it's probably the easiest of the sales jobs there, right? Retention is probably the hardest because they're calling in pissed off and wanting to leave, and you're trying to keep them as a customer somehow. So,
well, I would say that companies you could be a loyal customer, company for 20 years, and all of the deals and all of the specials and everything go to getting new customers.
Right.
And it's like I've been a customer 20 years. I've never complained about anything. I pay my bill on time for 20 years. Throw me a
Probably
bone. Throw me a bone once in a while, right?
probably the biggest deal they have going, and I even did it myself before I worked there, or knew I was going to work there. I switched my cell phones over. It was
Yeah.
so much cheaper to switch my cell phone over to Spectrum than it was to keep my old. And I had what I thought was a cheap cell phone. I was just using Cricket, right? Like it's kind of like Metro PCS or something like that. But I was just doing that, and I was paying $90 a month for 2 lines, and I was like, oh, that's pretty good. And then I switched over, and I'm paying $29 for 2 lines. And now that I'm working there, I'll be paying $15 a line up to 15 lines. So it's and free internet and TV. Well, I'll have to pay a little bit for my internet because I got the fastest package, but it's there's definitely lots of perks, I guess, for working there. But it's still a job, right? I'm trying to work myself out of a job, not into jobs at this point. But it is what it is. But it's just
That's good.
yeah, it was good. Like I said, for me, if I'm going to a place and we've got stuff to do, let's do that stuff. Don't tell me I need to be here 8 hours and half the time we're just sitting around. That's not a way to make me a fan.
Yeah.
Right? If we got 4 hours worth of work, then let's do 4 hours and go home. That's just how I am, because I look at a job as they're renting my time.
Yep.
Right. Because I used to be the guy who was the company man. Oh, this is the greatest company ever. But they will replace you so fast, and they don't care what it does to your livelihood and your bills. Right.
No.
So for me, it's like, oh, yeah, I like working here. I like taking your money and coming and trading my time for it. But yeah, it's a little bit different.
9 p.m.
It's 9 p.m., Brad.
It's 9 p.m. It's bedtime.
But yeah, so that's pretty much everything that's happened to me in the last day or 2 days with the queen cells and all, and all that.
Well, same. Just working in the shop. I got putting those little triangles together, and I had to cut hundreds of those little pieces. Boy, they're fiddly. Cutting all those little 60-degree angles is just a.
I left the pest control job. Wow. End of March, beginning of April of 24. Like that long ago. And then I worked a little bit for the bread company for a few months, and then they decided they didn't need me anymore. And then I've been doing nothing. I was answering a question, by the way. So
how are you cutting your pieces, Brad?
A combination of ways. Mainly, I have a big crosscut sled that I made years ago, and so I put a little stop block on there with a 60-degree angle, and I just put them on there and kind of table saw. My miter saw will cut 60, and I was cutting some of them on the miter saw. Kind of weird to describe why I'd use one or the other, but I prefer the sled. The sled works really nice. Yeah, miter saw, especially doing small parts and stuff, miter saw is just scary, right? It's just so much nicer to just use a table saw. You've only got that much blade sticking out of the sled, and yeah, it's easily controllable.
I did like the pest control job. But the thing that kills you with pest control is the chargebacks against your commission. So you're constantly fighting cancellations. So when you go out to see somebody and they have a pest issue and you sign them up on a 12-month contract and they pay you your commission up front, but you're beholden to the company for 12 months for that contract. So If they go 6 months and cancel, well, then they charge you back half your commission. So the problem is you're killing their problem, right? They're calling because they have a pest issue. As soon as they don't see that pest anymore, well, then they cancel the contract and you get charged back. So not only do you have to sell enough to make money, but you have to sell extra to account for the cancellations. So it's just, and you know, when I left, it was in the winter time here, and there's not many pests in the winter time here. Spring and summer, in fall, yeah, lots, but not so much in January and February.
So, Mike, this is kind of what I was doing. I could cut it on one end on that side and
Then you just flipped it to the other side and did it again.
cut it the other side that way. So,
It's
yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
See,
that's just
my table saw has no grooves for the sled.
There's Phil the Bee Man.
is that your slider?
Like sliding, yeah.
Yeah, they don't have miter slots, do they?
I mean, I have table saws I can bring out, but
Right. Yeah, that sled, I don't use that a lot. But Phil, I've read on the commercial forums that guys are using air tags for that.
Those things are expensive, aren't they?
I don't use that, but now tracking your hives, are you meaning keeping notes on particular hives, or you're meaning tracking them as far as them going on a trip, unscheduled vacation? That's what some of the guys in almonds are using air tags
To track them.
put an air tag in, every second pallet or something.
Can make a little feeder hole plug that's got an air tag in it. So when it's plugged up, the top has it in it. Tracking data.
I've seen guys who'll maybe flip a box over or something, and then put a little mortise in the box side, slide an air tag up right in the wall of the box, and then plug it with a little piece of wood or something, I guess. It'd be hard to find.
I started at 9, a little after 9:30, I think. 9:40 maybe.
Tracking data, not tracking theft. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
a commercial guy, he I think it's the Nectar app or something like that, and he had the QR codes right on his hives, and he'd go into them. He could
Yeah.
put the brood in for him, what the mite wash was. It was interesting.
Yeah, some
But
kind of system with QR codes.
Yeah, he had 3 trucks coming back from Almond, so got a few more hives than us.
Trying to catch up on stuff I missed today.
Yeah, I don't use my sled much, and I think it's because it's so big. It's really big.
Yeah, he said he was looking at Nectar, but he's got a question about the usability on it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't use them myself personally. I know. Yeah, there's Hive IQ. Isn't that an RF tag in that thing or no? Or not Hive IQ?
I don't know.
What's the other one we were talking about the other day, where you'd weigh the hives? Is that Hive?
Oh, Broodminder?
Broodminder. Is that RF tag?
I don't know. I don't know what they have.
But yeah, I haven't. Nobody tends to get near my hives, but me. I don't even want to get near most of my hives. I don't have to worry about them going anywhere here.
You got to kind of be a honey badger to get near yours.
I know. Some of them are pretty bad. And I'm just waiting on that first real strong nectar flow to hit, and they'll probably mellow right out. But boy, are they not fun right now. So Hive IQ does have RF tags in them. I don't know, what's the one Hilco put out, the new one? Does that have RF tags in it? I don't know. I'm not sure if it does or not. I don't think so, but it might. Insulate Hive 365. Doesn't say it does, so I'm going to assume it doesn't. That'd be one of those things they would probably market pretty heavily.
Well, I wish I had more to report from today, but it was just through the saw 600 times or whatever it was. But now
On the latest TBS video.
Have you put any together?
Oh, the bee supply?
I put a few together.
Did you try that triangle?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it works.
How'd it
well.
work?
Yeah, it works well. Took me a while to make it though. It's fussy, and it would work way better if I had that plug. Especially now I've got the small one in the center. I need the plug for it to center it up. Otherwise, it's not really very helpful.
Could you just make a couple small pieces with a notch that would fit down, and just put a slight taper on 3 of them, so you have a notch inside that, so those would be like your plug. You know what I'm talking about?
I could manufacture something for sure. I could
So-
get out my hole saws and just cut a plug.
Oh, well,
I have hole saws.
For those who are wondering what Brad was doing, he's actually making some bee escapes. So some of you may not have caught the live stream on his channel the other day. So that's what we're talking about here.
I should be able to knock out quite a few tomorrow. Actually, I have to go to a store at some point. So, sell honey.
I don't get to go nowhere but work now.
Well, get at her, man.
It's work. Don't get
It's
me
going to be
started.
5 days a week, Bob?
Yeah, it's Tuesday through Saturday. So I get Sundays and Mondays off for at least the first 12 weeks. Or first 6 weeks, and then maybe the whole time. Hell, I know at least the first 6 weeks it's that schedule. And then who knows what it's going to be after training. But they did say the top 30% of salespeople have the choice to work from home. So I just need to beat 66%. That's it. And then I can be right here all day long. But of course, there's still production to worry about. But trying to keep up with the chat.
Yeah, I am too. I shouldn't get distracted by the chat, but
yeah, the QR code thing. Well, Charlie says he uses some note app on his phone that he tracks it with.
but it's not like a beekeeping thing. It's
I don't think it's a beekeeping thing,
something
though.
to make notes.
But it would be nice to be able to have some kind of web-based program where you would upload the QR code. I might be giving
I think that's awful cool, and I have tried that kind of thing, but I just find that when I'm working in the bee yard, dragging up my phone and my hands are covered in, whatever, and mucking with the phone all the time and trying to see it in that bright light, and just crayon on the lid is really the only thing that I've found that works for me, and sometimes not even that because I can't find my crayon half the time.
And then for me, I think it'd be more it's kind of like the smoker principle, right? You light your smoker, you set it on your first hive, and then you're
Yeah.
5 hives down before
Yeah.
you got to go back to get your smoker. And then
Fortunately, in my home yard here anyway, my crayons are quite weatherproof. So I'll have a few of them sitting on the hives throughout the yard. And I'm usually no more than a few hives away from a crayon.
needs to be usable. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I find anyway, that just one more thing to do. And now, do I wish I had better notes on particular hives? Absolutely. Because I'll make a note on a hive, something's going on with the queen or something, whatever, and I'll come back in a week or a few days or whatever, and I'll look at that note and I'll think, what in the world does that mean?
What was
Right?
I meaning
It's
about
kind of
that?
like, who wrote that note? Because it makes no sense at all.
I laugh when I go to Sam's yard because he's pretty diligent about putting notes on his little piece of tin that he's got stuck to the lid, but he's not consistent on the shorthand that he uses, right?
Yeah, I was
Like
just
he
going to
might have
say that.
BQ or for Virgin Queen
Yeah.
or BQ for like Blue Queen or Unmarked Queen, or
Yeah.
it might just be it's not consistent, right? So you
I,
go there
I
and
was
you have
just
to
going to say
change
that
code
you have
every
to have
time.
a shorthand that's very consistent.
Right.
You know, like I'll just, I'll if I'm looking at something, if there's a cell maybe, or if there's whatever, I'll just I want to write that I want to come back and check the queen, right? So I'll just put a check mark. I'll just check Q and then a date when I want to check that queen, and so then I can, as I'm walking through the apiary, I can see, well, today is the 15th of July, and this says check the queen on the 14th or something, or even the 16th, and then I'll say, well, I'm here. Let's give this a check. Uh, so yeah, consistent shorthand definitely is a key.
But my problem, if I had your situation, I could do that, but then I would forget which hive was that, and you know what I mean. So there's no way, like when I get out of the yard, to say, oh yeah, hive 2 or row 2, hive 5. I need to check that one for that.
Yeah.
Right. So it would be something that it might say check on the 15th. Well, and then I didn't get back to that hive till the 21st, right? And it's like,
So
well, that's late.
Bill, have you tried the Mark All paint sticks? I know your covers. Well, I think your covers are metal. Mine are wood. I find that the Mark All paint stick, boy, that stuff lasts because it's actually a stick of paint, and it'll put up with a lot. Sometimes it's too good that I have a hard time scraping it off.
My hives are bringing in tons of pollen. When is it okay to equalize? I want to equalize, but it might be too early for me. Temps are going to drop for the next few weeks after tomorrow.
Well,
I
wait
think,
till your strong hives are stronger than they need to be to thrive.
and I
That
also
would be my
think
guess.
a good thing you can do if you
Yeah.
my hives will get pollen bound. So I have to, when I do my inspection, if I have too much pollen, I'll remove a frame and give them a fresh frame.
Bill says he uses lumber crayons. A Mark All paint pen is better than I have lumber crayons too, and they're not anywhere near as good as a Mark All. So look those up.
I've got I got so much stuff. I got a box of them around here somewhere, but hell if I know where they're at.
I want to
Right
say
now.
the place is called Fastenal, where I get them from on Route 90, kind of near where the co-op head office is. Phil will know that. Nobody else will know that.
Well, yeah, I wonder if Amazon might carry them too. They might be a little more expensive.
Yeah, I've had a tough time, I think, finding them there. And they have a lot of different colors too. I like the white ones, and those
Yeah,
seem
that's the
a
ones
bit
I've got.
harder to find on Amazon.
Let's see.
They're not free. They're couple bucks a piece, but they last a long time.
And they're hard as a brick too. I mean, they're solid pen or crayons.
Well, depends. You get a hot day, they get a bit soft.
Yeah, they'll get a little softer.
Because it's literally a stick of paint. You know, it's like a big wax crayon. There's nothing in it but just paint.
I use chat to text for work, but if your enunciation is bad, I can't read my notes. It's like Charlie. I don't think Charlie texts at all. It's just talking about it. Oh, thank you, Steve. Too kind, brother. Appreciate
Isn't
you.
that nice? Very nice.
Thank you so much. The a Markall paint pen?
No,
I don't know.
no. No.
We're talking about Hive crayons.
Yeah, no. A Markall pen is not. It's solid paint. It's more like a wax crayon, but it's a solid stick of paint. It sounds weird, but that's exactly
Kind of like
what
what
it
they
is.
would use to. I don't know if they use this particular item, so don't go do it. I'm just saying, like at a car dealership when they write on the glass on the
Yeah.
front, it's kind of like that.
Yeah, definitely not.
But it's kind of like it.
Because it can actually be fairly permanent. You know.
I've still got marks from last year on my colonies. Or
Yeah.
on the lids.
Yeah, sometimes, I'll be trying to scrape off a marking and I can't scrape it off. It's kind of too permanent.
Oh, Philip put a link over there. That's the white ones. I'll pull it up. It is on Amazon. Paint Markall paint stick. That's it. Share screen. Entire screen. It's right here.
That's the ones. I buy them by the box.
What is it? 12-pack for $20.
Yep. That's a good price. Well, that's US, right? So yeah, it's
Yep.
still a good price.
They use the Markalls to mark pipes and fittings on pipelines. They are
Yeah,
really good.
the place I get them is kind of a little more of an industrial supply place. People who work with steel and welding shops and mechanical systems in commercial buildings, etc.
Just another tool for the toolbox. I
Another
can't
tool
buy
in the
anymore.
toolbox.
Brad's forbid me.
Nope.
I've got too many gadgets.
Your gadgets to bees ratio is
It's off.
skewed.
Luckily, I got a box of them before that happened.
My equipment to bees ratio is way off.
Mine is too at this point. And now with people asking me to bring bees, I'm like, well, which bees do I bring? My pissed off ones or the ones that are about to die? Which ones do you want? So it's
Yeah, you don't want to take nasty bees to somebody else's place. That's bad.
well, it's killing two birds with one stone. It's pollinating their bushes and getting them the hell out of here. So, but if they've got that much to pollinate, that means they'll probably be bringing in a lot of nectar, which means I would have to be toting boxes out there all the time to stack up, and then tote them back. So I don't know. We'll see what I do. Maybe, hey, flyback split on the pissed off colony. Take the queen and a couple frames of brood and some bees and put it in a nuke and carry that out there. Here you go. Here's your bees. When they grow up, would drop them in a 10 frame.
That's mean.
And you can ask them what
5 acres.
then ask them what they did to your bees.
Yeah, why'd you
Yeah.
make my bees so spicy? Yeah, I've got pollen coming in for sure down here. For sure. More than I clean my windshield on the way to work, and by lunchtime it's yellow again. Let me see. Oh no, I've got queen cells, bro. If I do the flyback, man, I will definitely go in there and smash anything they make and give them a new one. But
I just double checked my forecast, and it seems like almost after this weekend I could move bees out anytime. It's not terribly warm, but warm enough.
let them use the restroom for the first time in months.
Let them use the restroom. That's not definitely not a restroom because
It's not a bathroom
they're
either.
on the go. They're not resting.
It's not a washroom either.
It's not a washroom.
It's
Not
an
a
outhouse.
bathroom. It's a fly.
Depository.
A depository.
Yeah, depository.
Hashtag brown rain. People always ask me, what are these yellow stripes on your window? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, just don't worry about it. Would you like a bottle of honey?
It's go time on Sunday, Phil says. Yeah, I could see that. Sunday. Well, that'll be perfect. Here it says 0 chance of snow. Yeah, that'll be perfect because the ground will be firm still. -9 Saturday night, so that'll freeze good. Yeah, that would be a good day to move. Sunday.
That's gonna be a. Are you gonna try to move out Sunday, or are you gonna?
I don't know. I was just looking at it, like 0 degrees and overcast. It'd be perfect because they're not gonna be all over. Like they're not gonna fly, and they drift a lot. If you go a really warm day, then they drift a lot. As soon as you bring them out, they're just zoom. Because see, here's something I noticed, right? If I have in the fall, if I have a 4-degree day, that's it's a bright day, but they don't get a lot of solar heating. The bees really, they're not really flying, right? It's kind of cold. But in my building, it's 4 degrees. If I open the doors, the bees right away zoom out the door.
Right.
So there's a big difference between being cooped up in that building for so long, I guess, and actually being in the yard and going through the day-night cycles. Because if it's 4 degrees outside, they're really not going to fly.
Doug says you got more faith in the weatherman than he does.
Well, I certainly am not under the delusion that they know what's going to happen a week out. They can't tell you what the weather was yesterday half the time.
Roy asked, was Phil in Western Colorado or Canada?
Oh.
No, he's in Central.
This is technically Western Canada, but yeah, Roy, he's not far from me. He's about halfway between me and Ian.
Mark also sells crayons and paint pens with spring tips.
Oh, okay.
Queen marking pens.
I sure like those competitive advantage pens for marking queens.
They're the ones I sell.
The marks, the paint lasts a lot longer than a Posca pen. Those rub off right away. Competitive advantage paint lasts a long time.
We used to use Markall made a laundry marking pen. That's what they issued us in the military to mark our uniforms with.
Your plus temperatures for the weekend are now minus temperatures. Yeah, it's not like I could keep them in. I asked Lloyd Harris that one time. At these temperatures, should I take them out or leave them in? And he didn't even skip a beat. He just said leave them in. So what I don't like is when I'm moving out and it gets warmer, the sun is really hot, and then it starts to melt the ground and it gets soggy, and now I'm making big muddy ruts and everything.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how your outside wintering did?
Yeah, pretty good idea. Not good.
Oh,
There might be one left, Mike. I don't think it had anything to do with the wintering method. I know that wintering method works. It's just unhealthy bees. I'm just still working on that problem. Yeah, yeah, you got to beat the frost. You'll be like Ian, have his truck stuck up to the frame in mud and big tractor pull it out and whatnot.
yeah, but you don't have an 8-wheel tractor to pull it out.
Oh, I don't.
Chances are it's your little one that's stuck.
Yeah, yeah, it will be the tractor that is stuck.
Mhm.
Well, and that's the nice thing about that little tractor is it, you know, overall it's not really that heavy, and the biggest problem is not just getting there, it's the fact that see how I've got the hives all lined up here? I have to drive in the same line over and over again. And when you do that, then it gets really soft and make ruts. If I just would smarten up and not put them all in a line, that'd be better.
Trying to read the comments. That's why I don't like doing just read the comment type of stream, because you end up,
Yeah,
staring at the box and nobody says anything.
Well, there's just not much happening here to talk about, to be honest.
There's not much. I mean,
Just in the shop.
so with mine, obviously I'm south of a lot of people in the chat, and I'm trying to push the limit on my strong colonies right now before I do any splits, right? Instead of doing it early, I'm trying to let them get stronger and then make the split. And then at least in my mind, that the queen then still has a bunch of bees around her, so she can then she'll lay up faster. If I take too much of the population away, she's got less bees to take care of the brood, so she will lay a smaller pattern. So that I'm just trying to let them get as strong as possible.
There's a way to look at that. It kind of equals the same thing, but there's a little bit of a different way to look at that, and it's the bees regulate her.
Right.
They will either, encourage or discourage her from laying more or less, or they cannibalize. So she may just be, boom, 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 and then the bees may go behind her and just say, well, she just laid 100 eggs and we can only take care of 50, so then they cannibalize the rest. And
I
that's
can
kind of
imagine that conversation in my
it
pissed off
seems kind of a waste, right? But so anyway, it's just a little nuance to. It's kind of the same cause and the same effect, but
I can imagine two of my worker bees sitting there saying, that crazy bitch done laid this whole frame up and we don't have enough.
Look at this.
We don't have enough workers to do
go away
all this
for an
work.
hour
Start
and look at this.
pulling them out.
Look at all the work we got to do.
She's got us all messed up. We'll throw all this away.
Yeah.
That's
Did
my
you
bipolar
see how
bee.
many bees are here? We can't take care of all this.
And then they kill the queen because she's not doing a good job, right?
Yeah.
That's how mine goes. It's like, they're just bipolar.
Well, we see that pretty vividly in the spring. With the changes in the weather and the temperature and whatnot, and then the nest will expand and then contract, and then it is really quite one of the things that I started to see after I don't know 5 years or so keeping bees in the spring, that I could literally open a hive in say mid to late April, and I could look at when it got warm enough for me to actually pull frames out of there, I could look at a brood frame and I could match that with the weather patterns that we've had over the last couple of weeks, right? I could absolutely see that. That would tell me what the weather was for the last 2 to 3 weeks by looking
Well,
at that brood frame.
you told me about that last year on one of my calls. I was like, I don't understand this. And you're like, well, what was the weather like 2 weeks ago? I was like, oh, you're right. It was cold. We actually looked back through the weather
Yeah.
and tracked it down, and you could definitely show that. I'm gonna tell you, I think it's a cool observation. May not impress any of you, but you remember the colony that I said was, man, they're just building up really slow. So I'm gonna give them one frame of brood, and that's their shot. So I did an inspection on that colony yesterday, and what I noticed was the frame that I gave her with brood on it had hatched totally out, 100%, nothing left on it. And they were on by the entrance. And when I got to those frames where her old pattern was like this, now it's a full frame where she just laid up. So it's still on like 2 frames, but it's the whole frame and not little sections. So it is having a positive effect. It's just they're not spread all over the box yet. But she went from laying a small pattern to laying whole frames of brood. So I
So
think,
did she take a liking to those new frames you put in? Is that what you're saying?
The frame that I put in that had a few bees on it and it was capped hatched out, which gave them a greater population.
Right.
But she's still on like the same area they were in. But instead of having a small brood pattern, it was a nice brood pattern. It was just small.
Oh, so not the frame you put in, but
Right.
where the
She
nest
laid the
was.
whole,
Yeah.
but she laid the
Okay.
whole frame out.
Because she's got the bees to cover it now.
Yeah, so she's ramped up a little bit, and then when that hatches, that'll be 6 frames of bees in addition to whatever else. Hey, Doug.
Welcome, Doug.
Gentlemen,
I've got to ask you, what is that on the wall back there? Triceratops? What do you got back there? Behind the other side on the wall. It looks like a moose head or something.
don't know.
You know, I don't know.
It's new.
I walk by it every day.
There's something on the wall.
Hanging on the wall back there.
Well, there's a pheasant.
Oh, that's what it is.
And there's a ruffled grouse.
That's a pheasant. Now that you said it, it doesn't look so much like the front of a
It does look like a triceratops from here.
I see the head.
Doug is so
Doug's
old.
like,
He's got a mounted triceratops head on his wall.
It is a descendant from them, isn't it?
Doug's gonna stop coming on here. He's like, they just called me old. I'm not coming on here anymore.
That's old.
He mounted the first triceratops.
It is a descendant from the dinosaurs, so.
Okay.
But after you said it's a pheasant, now I can see the head going off to the side and then the tail coming down. I get it now. And the wings are up. Got it.
Next time we'll have to hang an elk or a deer out there.
I've seen
Big
pictures
old
of
moose on the wall.
have to use some strong anchors to mount that.
Big old swamp donkey head.
So, Doug, did you put the snow machine away already?
I put the sled away, but I still got the snowblower out. We had about 5 inches of snow yesterday again.
Yee.
When does it usually start melting off for you?
Well, I was looking at a picture 4 years ago. My granddaughter and me were in the backyard in shirt sleeves painting birdhouses.
Yeah.
On the same day?
Yeah, same day.
4 years ago, that was 20. Oh, that's because of COVID. We got to blame everything in 20 and 21 on COVID. So you had sunny weather because of COVID.
Yeah.
It's
well,
funny
we've gotten so much less snow than you, Doug. It's just incredible. Like Very little snow here.
Yeah, we got our share and somebody else's too this
Yeah,
year.
you got all of our snow. Did you get into that latest Colorado low that came by, or that go south of you?
No, we had that. Roads were bad here today. They said I wasn't on them, but people are saying lots of ice on the roads.
We just got it just the edge of that, just a little touch of it. Not really hardly anything.
That's yeah. You might as well be speaking Chinese. I have no idea what you're talking about. Snow and Colorado lows and
Well, Colorado lows are really quite. They usually last about 3 days, and they bring a lot of precipitation.
Kind of like our
I
northeasters.
Yeah, like it's kind of like a nor'easter. Yeah.
all I know is if I lived in Canada, I couldn't afford my electric bill if I had to pay the same rate. One day of snow down here jacked my bill up.
Well,
Ridiculous.
We were talking at camp. It was a few years back. We were out snowmobiling on the 15th of April, and there was a moose in the trail, and she would not get out of the way. Finally, we forced her off, and she was up to her belly in snow. It was still 4 feet off the trail.
That's because you didn't bring your flying squirrel with you. Rocky would have took care of that for you.
Oh, I wanted to go slap it in the backside, but nobody had a camera.
what you
Oh, I
needed
would have had my camera because I'd have been like, "This is going to go viral." When
you needed
when
something
that
to show
moose
the
kicks
coroner.
the crap out of you.
Yeah, I said if I'm going to do something stupid, I want pictures of it.
Yeah, that's what I tell my wife when I'm about to do something stupid. I say, "Here, put video this so you got something to show the coroner."
Oh, I was going to film the screen when Brad was dumping that 5-gallon pail of honey into the bottling tank because his wife was sitting there doing it, and I said, "If this falls over,
Right over my wife.
right on top of her, it's going to get her." And that's not even the funniest part. The ass whooping that Brad would have took would have been the life of the party.
Yep.
Should have took the beat down.
Yep, that's for sure. And
I
it
would
could
have
have,
shared revenue with you though.
you know, the first one or two way up there like that, you can kind of handle it. After you get to the 12th one, your arms get a bit sore and you make a mistake.
I just know when that bucket I was putting in there fell in and went poof, and
Yeah.
all the honey shot up in the air.
Yeah.
It was pretty impressive. Not as fun as digging the bucket back out of the bottling tank, but that was fun. Good times. Good times.
Stuff you learn the hard way and don't do more than once.
Yeah, luckily, knock on wood, I haven't had honey run on my floor yet. Not like leaving the gate open run. I've dripped it, but not.
Oh, done that.
And I've been lucky enough to have not dropped a glass jar and have it break full of honey everywhere either.
They have this marvelous invention. It's called a pump.
He's got one.
Yes. Pumps are wonderful.
I can clean up a lot of honey for a couple $1,000 though. Just saying, in my instance. But hey, trust me, if I find one that's the right price or a used one, I'll have to increase my gadget to bee ratio.
Yep.
It's going to go even further out of balance.
Well, we don't pack honey very often, and so we really don't have a good setup for packing honey. But once in a while, I need to get some honey in the pails, jars here at home. So that's one of the downsides of outsourcing. I outsource all my packing, so I'm not set up here to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I try to keep some of every size of mine on hand. But like when someone just randomly says, "Hey, can I come get some honey?" Sure. I'm thinking a jar, right? But then someone buys 12 pounds in a 12 pounds in a bottle of creamed honey. And it's like, all of a sudden I'm out of quarts and now I'm bottling quarts again.
Tell me about it. I look at my pallets of honey in the building there and I'll go get 600 pounds packed, and then not too long I'm looking at that pallet and it's starting to get empty again. It's where did all that honey go?
I'll tell you what, if if I was a smarter man,
I'm not a smart man.
I would. I mean, seriously, for the last several years, I just saw Brian come on here. Brian's been poking me in the butt about going to shows. Doug has sent me message about going to shows with honey.
Yep.
And I haven't. And like, I would over 80% of the people that come here. And I say that because if somebody just comes and says they want a jar of honey, I may not drag out my samples for them to taste them. But if they taste the flavored honey, at least one jar is gone every time. So some people buy 3 or 4 of them. It's just magic.
I always say, get them in the jar and you can get in their wallet.
That's it. And once they taste my nuts, it's gonna be on. See,
Your
only
sweet
you
salty
guys.
nuts,
Nobody
Bob.
in the chat laughed at that. Only you.
It's the delay.
Sweet salty nuts.
Oh, let's.
If they walk by your table, Bob, they wouldn't be customers. They'd be victims.
Oh yeah. Steve, you saw how I had it set up. Steve was at the show in North Carolina. I just had my sampler on the table, and I sold about 30 jars of honey just really by accident because that wasn't even the goal.
I accidentally sold.
I didn't unload my car. When I went there, I just literally threw clothes in a book bag and a backpack and went off. Right. I didn't plan to sell honey. I had honey in the back, creamed honey, and sold about 30 jars of it. So stop sending me pictures of your nuts. I'm going to put my nuts on camera.
You're going to get demonetized.
I didn't say anything out of the way. I'm showing everybody my nuts right now, and they better.
Yes, you are.
My wife's like calling my name in there, telling me to stop it. But what else can you do? Fun. If you had cinnamon, you would. Oh yeah, for sure. I would have sold plenty more.
Yeah, cinnamon is
bought
the
cinnamon
biggest
yesterday, so it's I would have sold a lot more because there was several people that wanted cinnamon. I was like, I don't have it with me. So, and then I came home and I found a few jars of it here that I didn't have in my cart. So if I would have took everything that I had, it would have been game on for sure.
That's the only flavor we do is cinnamon. And it's probably about 25% of our market.
For me here, in Canada, would you like to taste? Well, I've tasted creamed honey before, down here. No, what is creamed honey? Well, I'm glad you asked. Check this out. And then I hit them with the favorite, like the best sellers, right? Oh, try this lemon first. Try this cinnamon. Oh, those are great. Let me get one of each of those. What else do you have? Well, I've got strawberry, blue, and I start naming them off, and they're like, oh, I really like peaches. Give me a peach too. They haven't tasted the peach. Then your reputation's getting out there, right? Oh, well, if these are that good, the peach has to be great. So, but it's fun. I enjoy that part of it. I really do enjoy, but I'm not a fan of even setting the table up. I have to, and this is going to sound like whining. I know, because I've got to go into my warmer and get that out. I got to go into my cooling refrigerator and get that out. Then I got to drag it down.
Come on, Doug. We can make it a trio.
Yeah.
We can make it a trio.
Oh, I'll play the stand-up.
String. Look at Duck is all broken up there. He's tearing up.
See there?
Poor Bob.
There you go. Your cinnamon and lemon are amazing. I had to take the blueberry to my office to save it from the monsters at home. And you know what? I appreciate that because to me, Yep. Brad, I've had people try it, but I literally brought some in my suitcase so Brad could tell me if I had no reference, right? I had nothing, no standard to go by. It's just, this is what I did.
I'm no expert on flavored honey either, and I call flavored honey, you call it creamed honey. But my packer, he's the king of flavored honeys. Like, there's nobody holds a candle to this guy, and so I know what his product is like. And I tried Bob's product, man. It was right up there. Right up there.
It is
Really
whining.
good product. What's that?
Brian says it is whining.
Yep.
And I should go to more shows. Now the job makes it even harder, right? Because I'm working Fridays and Saturdays.
Yeah.
And all bee conferences are like Friday, Saturday, and maybe Sunday.
You need to go to craft shows. Craft shows is where you sell it.
Yep.
Farmers markets, people looking for a bargain at farmers market. They don't want to pay you for your stuff. You go to craft shows, people got money.
Bob used to tell this guy from Quebec how to sell his honey. Now his lessons are turning around.
Yeah, I mean, I sell a lot of honey for just being in my front yard. Don't get me wrong. I mean, for just sitting out there a few hours a day, like, what was it, 3.5 hours on Saturday? I didn't sit out at all on Sunday.
You're making $100
on
an hour.
Monday, $400+ US over those 3 days. So,
you can buy a house in Canada for $400 US.
Yeah. Or a castle in Ireland.
Or a castle in Ireland.
There's literally a YouTube channel where the guy says, I could buy this house in, where is it, Ontario or Montreal? Or I could buy this castle in Europe. Yep. And he shows the house in Canada.
It's like a 2-bedroom bungalow.
Yeah, and it's not a nice one. It's not like a top of the line one either. It's like $500,000 Canadian, right? And then or $1 million. I've seen it at $1 million too. And then he goes, or in Italy, there's this castle for $315,000 or something.
Yep,
it's crazy. But yeah, I really enjoyed the honey sales part of it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. My life's just in a constant flux right now with no job, now a job that's got crappy.
Oh, you'll figure it out.
But yeah, we'll figure it out. Hell, who knows? Maybe I sell more honey at this job because it's a huge call center than I would sell in my front yard.
Maybe.
Tomorrow I'm taking my sampler and a couple bottles that people want
as much in a day selling honey as you will work on the job. You just tell them, I don't need your money.
Yeah, just let me come in once a week and sell honey, and I'll be fine.
Yeah, just come in and walk around, sell honey.
But it's
have you got a big lunchroom there?
2 big lunchrooms.
Oh, you got her made then.
Just stand there and who wants their honey today? Here's a sign-up list. I'll bring them tomorrow. Have your money ready or prepay now. Take all forms of payment.
That's awesome.
But it's interesting. There's so many. I mean, every time I go by like the spice aisle at Walmart or something, there's always something. They had Girl Scout cookie, but it was a small one, so that almost came back to life. I sold all those out, and then they had a s'mores one. They had a cinnamon toast crunch, which is just probably cinnamon. So, and maybe cinnamon sugar mix, but I don't want to add sugar to the honey. But yeah, they didn't have the Snickers though. I looked, if they would have had Snickers, I'd have bought the whole shelf. Because for some reason, when I made it, not that many people bought it, but everybody that tasted afterwards said, do you have any more of this? Well, no, I'm just trying to get rid of this last sample.
Supply and demand.
Yeah, we had that discussion today. Yeah. So they do have rules, but they're not very strict on those rules. I can't actively go and say, hey, Brad, would you like to buy some honey? However, I can bring honey and people can tell me they want to buy it, and then I can bring it for them.
Just wear your I Sell Honey t-shirt.
Yeah, I can't wear t-shirts either. I can't wear tennis shoes. You see how I'm dressed. When's the last time you saw me dressed like this? Never. Even when I was there, I didn't dress like this, I don't think. So it's like definitely different.
Just set a jar on the table and some sampling spoons.
Oh yeah, I did the Thin Mint. I found some more of the flavoring at Walmart, but I didn't buy it this time. I had to keep my gadgets to bees ratio in check. But I do have plenty of cinnamon, so that's coming up. Before I go back to my table, I'll have at least a case of cinnamon. 30 jars at least. But some of the stuff that takes up space, right? So you make maybe a half a case of peach or something, and it's a little bit slower seller. And I only have one refrigerator for doing that. So I don't have like whole cold rooms. Y'all could just set it on the back of your porch, and as long as it's not wet, it'd be perfect. Put it in your honey. I mean, you can put it in your bee room because it's 40. It would harden right up in there.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good temperature. Even my wood shop. You've creamed honey? My wood shop is perfect place. It's 15 degrees in there.
Tomorrow it's supposed to be 80 degrees.
Ideal.
If you set it on a cement floor, it works good.
On a cement floor?
Yeah.
Well, that's funny you say that.
Except for my wood shop because it's a hydronic heat.
Oh.
I thought
Not so good.
So I jarred up a bunch of pints when I first harvested pint jars, and I put them in the case and stacked them up, but they were sitting on a concrete floor, and boy, did they ever crystallize fast. And that really surprised me, because if I have it inside, it doesn't crystallize that fast, but it will crystallize. But out there, real quick. Where then I have to move it to my warmer to decrystallize it before I can sell it now. And I did move a bucket into my warmer yesterday so I can fill up my bottling tank again. And I've got a good, let me see, probably 150 pounds in the bucket, and that's it. After that, I'm out until I source some more for creamed honey. Oh, Steve, I wish I could tell you, man. Privet, probably, mostly. My privet trees seem to do well with the bees. And then just clover and wildflowers. Because I live pretty much in a pine forest. Around me is just pine trees and some mimosa, some dogwoods around, Bradford pear.
Is there better over at your other yard?
Well, it's got farmers fields around it, and like the farmer field that's up here, I noticed this morning on the way to work that it's starting to get yellow flowers in the field, but I'm sure they're going to come through and till it under and plant soon. So, but right now there's flowers.
Be interesting to see how the two yards differ.
I'm sorry. Say it again.
In your house, other one.
The other one, it's kind of a farm. I mean, the guy raises goats and chickens and all kinds of stuff, but he's got fruit trees and stuff, so they get a little bit different. But then on the other side of the road, there's like they do cotton and soybeans and stuff like that. So they should have enough. It'll be different. That'll be different looking honeys, I'm sure of it. But we'll see what it looks like.
You've got no yellow snow this year, Brad?
Only when he takes
Yellow
a leak
snow?
out by the woodshed.
I've been working on that, Doug.
This
Yeah.
is the first winter I think I've seen. We haven't had the bees fly and stain the snow.
Yeah. I honestly haven't been out there. But there was one colony that was a little bit active a couple of weeks ago. So who knows? I
Russell, I'm
really
not,
need to make an effort to get out there.
I'm not sure because these right now they're still kind of short to the ground.
Maybe Thursday looks like it's going to be warm and sunny. I can go out. Maybe I should look under the lid of that one that was alive last time. See if they got any feed stores. I imagine they do.
Afraid to look under the lid.
Mm. Yeah.
I bet you're in good shape, Doug, with all those poly hives.
No, we had trouble with our Apivar treatment, so
Are you looking to switch from Apivar, or are you still going to plan to use it again?
no, we won't use it again. That's the first time we ever had a problem with it.
What was it, 2 years ago Ian started having problems with it, but I think he still uses it to some extent.
Yeah.
The problem with that, to me, with Apivar, you don't know when it's when it's done, because it looks the same when it's finished as when it's done, right? It's just a plastic strip.
Well, it's your alcohol wash. However, here, combination of the treatment is a fairly long treatment, and our season is such a short season. By the time I realize my Apivar hasn't worked, it's kind of
Too late.
I'm screwed. Right? I can do my post-treatment washes and know that it didn't work. But then what am I going to do? Oxalic acid vapor is about the only thing I can do at that point.
That's what we had to go back to.
It's
And it'll kill the mites, but it ain't going to kill the viruses.
Are you gonna try the formic again this year, Brad?
I don't know what I'm going to do exactly. I think I'm going to be doing a lot more oxalic acid vapor now that I have my new battery vaporizers. It's it's certainly economical. I have quite a bit of that formic left over, so I'll probably use it up at some point.
yeah.
You have to use. It's not like the formic you buy, right?
What do you mean?
Well, that is a 2 pads, 14 days in a double box. Kills under the brood cappings and everything.
Yeah.
Yours is a little more mild, isn't it?
Don't mistake it. They never claim that it's 100% kill under the cappings either.
I know that, but I mean,
I think a lot of people don't, though, is the way I mention it. But yeah, the dry lock pad does not kill under the cappings. The guys I've talked to that use it have never had a queen problem with it. It's far less harsh. It doesn't, but because the Formic Pro has a fairly high tech substrate that allows it to gas off over time, and then you can put a stronger dose in. I think it is. But the dry lock pad, it's really only gassing off for about 3 days.
so it's kind of like doing multiple oxalic acid treatments. You have to do it.
That's the thing. You have to do it over and over, but it does either kill the brood or stop her from laying, and that's the part I can't really figure out. Why would you use formic on a dry lock pad instead of oxalic acid vapor? Because it's about the same thing, except oxalic acid doesn't kill your brood, right?
Yeah, especially when you got to have your numbers up.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I'll probably use it just to use it up, but
extended OA might be nice, but we don't have that.
Yeah, extended OA is a maintenance product, so it'll keep the mites level. You know, it's not a good knockdown though. Would be really nice to put something in over the honey flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Oh.
extended would be about the length of your honey flow, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure how long it is. How long is the extended treatment for?
Yeah. I don't know.
I was wondering if throw a formic pad on as soon as I pull my honey, or even not even that, because I pulled my honey late in August, so maybe the first week in August, throw some formic pads on, Formic Pro on there with the honey supers on there, and let that ride out. Because if I'm going to kill brood, I don't really need that brood as long as she starts to lay again late August. Because I got tons of bees then that I don't need. They're
You
just
see that
unemployed.
question Roy's asking there
What's that? You can't use Apiguard?
in Canada?
Is that gel stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thymol gel.
no, it's not registered here.
So how would you do that with the single box and a queen excluder though? Would you have to put a shim?
Formic Pro?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have to use a shim. Because it
Right?
takes
'Cause
up some
you
space.
need a little bit of room under the queen excluder.
Yeah.
There's somebody in Wisconsin selling a capping spinner, Maxant variety, $1,600.
Oh, the Max and Spinner, this the senior or the junior?
Junior.
It's got red legs on it. I'm not sure. I can't tell by
Yeah,
this photo.
junior.
The junior sells for about 2,400 new.
Yeah.
You go down with cash, you can get it for 2,200. The other one's $5 or $6 grand. The big
Yeah,
one.
62 on the site.
Yeah.
Yeah. It works well though. I really like mine. $6,000 worth? I don't know, because that would be 9 here.
You could buy a castle for that kind of money.
But you could, if
In Ireland.
you know, if I spend $9,000 on a Max and spinner, I put in a little bit more and get a spin float.
Let's see. Guys, I hate to do it, but I think I'm going to.
10 o'clock.
Well, for you, it's 10 o'clock. It's 11 for me now, which means 12 hours from now, back at work.
It's just Central Time. It's central. Everything is centric around Central Time. So it's
only
really
9 o'clock.
it's really 10 o'clock,
It's
and then everybody else goes from there, right?
What'd you say, Doug? It's only what?
It's only 9 o'clock. Your clock's wrong.
It is true. Well, you hear my cat yelling at me over there? All right, guys. Well, I appreciate everybody. Steve, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. And we'll see you next week. And hopefully my schedule will get ironed out eventually. At least 6 weeks from now, it'll change. So we'll revisit the schedule then.
Thanks for coming on tonight, Bob.
Yeah,
Oh,
thanks,
well, I enjoy it.
Nice seeing you, Doug, Brad, everybody
Nice
else.
seeing you guys, Mike
We'll
and
talk
Doug.
to everybody later.
Okay.
Good
Night,
night.
everybody.
Right.